ready. We don't, like I told you, we don't. This is the entrance. This is it. We're here.
All right.
So, what did you ask me?
I don't know. What
you asked me about my hair?
Yeah, that one time, like your hair was gone. What happened?
What happened? So this is. So I just introduce you. Hang on, I guess.
Okay.
Should I say pastor? Yeah, Pastor Rafael. What's your last name? Robles.
Robles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll first answer your question because I feel like I can. He asked what happened. What happened? Why did I shave my head?
She was bald. She was like a homegirl.
Did I know you like that?
No, I think I saw you when I came up because you guys had just moved up here.
Yeah.
And I came to a service and then I go, oh, going old school Hillsong. Okay.
It was fun.
Yeah.
You gotta scoot your mic a little closer.
Okay.
You can get comfortable. Put it wherever. Yeah, we'll just be able to lean. You can be able to hang.
Yeah.
I just wanted to feel beautiful with or without hair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to be confident with that. I went through a season before that that I wanted to love myself with hair.
Got it.
You know, God made us like that, and then I went through. I shaved it because I was like, I'm beautiful without it. It's like I'm not attached to this, and so.
So it wasn't like a breakup. You had a boyfriend, broke up,
No.
and you were sad, and you said, "I'm gonna show him."
No. So I've done it a few times. The first time was 2019, and that time it was at a dark season. I had my hair dark brown, almost black, and I shaved it after that. And that one I didn't look. This doesn't do so good. And then I did it again 2020. My mom helped me shave it, and that was like fun and powerful. And then I just kept doing it. I just kept shaving it for like the summer. And then I think I had my brother-in-law help me. My sister shaved it. I think my brother might have helped me one time. And then a few years later, I did it again.
Yeah.
But that one was just pure. The third time I did it, it was just like someone told me like not to. And I was just, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And that one I was like.
So ladies, don't shave your hair.
Well, unless you're like, check it out, you know? I don't know. But don't do it because just because you want to prove something.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And just be careful. Well, be ready to take criticism, right?
I had some people ask if I had cancer. Mostly the reaction was like, you're looking good. Or like there's a fighter. I think her name was Rose or something. I forget her name. I think it's Rose. And then I got a lot of like, oh my gosh, you look just like whoever she is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I loved it. It's just cold.
Yeah.
So, Rafael, so thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for being honest about your hair.
Oh yeah, I'll be honest all day.
Yeah.
How I met you was how you just started showing up from Brad? Like knowing Brad?
I think we got introduced from Pastor
Jackie?
Doug Colby
Oh.
from Intermissionary. He told me that's how we got connected.
Oh, okay.
Me and Pastor Brad.
And you started coming to the meetings there?
No, we started. I think he said there was a Bible study, and he invited me to the. It was like an early morning Bible study, and I had time during that season to come. So that's when I started just showing up.
Yeah, and then somehow, because we so basically we worked together, we served together with the Spanish service for Two Trees. And it's a collaboration of your church or you and people that you've known for years, and then just some of our people. So it's like a collaboration. But that's how. But how did that happen? Anyway, I'm trying to figure out how we kind of got in. I think it was on your heart. It was on our heart, and it was like the perfect timing.
Yeah, I think Pastor Brad just kept telling me about it. He just said, "Oh, you're going to start a Spanish church. Let's start a Spanish church." And I was just like, yeah, whatever. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And
because people say that.
Yeah, they've said it in the past. And so for me, it was something that was, okay, I heard it before. So I'm just going to just listen. And if God wants it to happen. So I think I really heard God speak to me when I went to Spain. And I gave a message out there, and pretty much he said, see, you could do it. And so when I look back, I think it comes down to our having confident to do it.
Oh. Because you didn't preach in Spanish before.
Right. I hadn't
Oh, that's right.
preached or, I just barely speak Spanish to people when I can, but not in a way that is super long.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Dang, I didn't realize that. Well,
Yeah,
for us,
yeah.
it was like, it's just crazy. We'll get into it, but like the history for you guys, you and people you've known praying into this, not just what even the Two Trees Spanish church, but like Spanish speaking, God showing up for the Spanish speaking community on the West Side for so long. But for us, it was just like maybe short prayers. We were just like, not as long, like not 10 plus years of praying.
Well, I think that's what happens with some of us is that we can't forget that other people have, worked and had, all this energy and time put into this area, especially the Avenue, is that they prayed, they fasted, they worshiped, and they probably didn't see it coming. Because it's hard, we've been around a little bit, and you could see that it's hard, and it's going to take a long time to even see kind of like a progress to say, wow, look at how big this is, right?
It's so true.
I think in the past, people have given up. That's just my opinion, just because it's a difficult. People
praying, or people who try to do something, or both, like people who are just have hope for it?
Well, it could probably be our expectation, like if we say, I'm going to pray for this, and our expectation wants to see this and doesn't see it. I think in our flesh, in our weakness, we just give up.
That is so good. That's like for me in my life right now. That's for everyone. Like, take that. I just like, you're right. Like Daniel, that those, how many days was he praying and fasting? And then like right on the, like he was doing it for 20, 23, 21 days, 23 days, something like that. And the angel came to him and it was like, I was held up.
Yeah.
Like imagine if he would have stopped praying.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and those are things that you have to kind of ponder and think about, because it's like we're just the blessing of other people's prayers. We're coming into it, but with that responsibility, we can't forget that we too now need to continue to pray and be content. Yeah, exactly. Building. Like layers, right?
Yeah.
Because we could say, oh, we're here, we did it, and then it becomes something prideful. Yep. Oh, look at us, and it's no, we can't. It's other people's prayers partnering with us, and we'll never know, right, until we get to heaven, and that person will say, yeah, you guys were on the Avenue, and you guys prayed, and you guys, you answered our prayer by obedience.
It's so beautiful to know that it is a building on each other, and it's like not just, we're here, we're doing this. Like I think our attitude that like for Two Trees I've seen is we're coming, we want to support people who have been here first.
Yeah.
But I think it's easy to get there, to think like we're doing this thing and go, wow, God's moving now. We have some kind of formula to see this happen. It's like no. Right. Someone's been here for a long grandpas have been here way before you. Yes. And to honor like what God has been doing, like honor the patriarchs in the Bible before Caleb and Joshua. Yes. It's like they didn't just, there was something sacrificed before that too.
Yeah. Like there's this church called Victor Outreach. And I remember, this was over 30 years ago, that they would come and share Jesus with people. They would have like kind of ministry parades around the Avenue with the bullhorn and telling people about Jesus. And so I remember those types of people that had faith. They said, we're going to come down, we're going to pray, we're going to believe. There was also this old gentleman on the corner, I believe, Warner and Ventura Avenue. I think where Red Barn Market's at. Yeah. And he used to stand out there and pass out little, I really didn't know what he was passing out until I grabbed one of those things, and it was a track.
How old were you?
Probably 15. Oh. So see, he was out there passing these tracks out. And so
there's been movement.
People like that were saying, you know what, I'm going to continue to spread the gospel.
Wow.
So
I think I've heard about the horn blowing, and I think I've heard Jemmy talk about that.
Yeah.
So what's your history on the Avenue? Like, because I met you recently. We've started doing our Spanish church on Sundays at 5:00, and it's been so sweet. And we could talk about that later, but that's how I've come to know you. Mm-hmm. And for CityKidz we can talk about that if you like to, but and VBS and just like going out for the kids, the youth. But like, what's your history? Are you from here? Like,
yeah,
I know. I'm asking like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
share
a local
bit.
from here. I got saved 29 years ago, and when I got saved, my prior life was a gang member. So when I got saved, I just didn't want to be here no more. So I left the Avenue, just because I just had a bad taste of not wanting to be around all the stuff that I did, all the bad stuff. So when I got saved, I moved to Midtown.
Yeah.
And then from Midtown, I kept going East Ventura.
Like, let me get out of here.
Yeah. So then about maybe 10 years ago, then the Lord said, you need to go back to the Avenue.
Oof.
And it was just something that I wasn't necessarily ready for. I was still doing ministry on the Avenue with CityKidz. That was ongoing.
Oh, okay.
But really me being established here on the Avenue, like coming back to live, coming back and be the community. Yes. So outreach was still happening through CityKidz and through different events with partnering with Avenue Community Church, with Pastor Mike and Nick. But nice those are some things that eventually developed because I said yes.
Wow. And you came back and put roots and were like, okay. Were you afraid? Were you like, just run into people?
No.
Were you
I think
I don't want to get brought
my
back
wife
in?
was more afraid. My wife was more like, no, I don't want to move because, she had a bad taste too from the past. But I think that the comfort of coming back was that there was people here, like there was partnership.
Yeah, things have changed.
Yeah, there was a purpose. Like I knew I had to come back, not necessarily hit like my old roots or that lifestyle. Really, I haven't even. Right now I'm thinking about it, it's like, wow, I don't necessarily target like homies and gang members.
No. It's
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which are the future. And like, I feel like that kids are where gangs start too. I mean, we see like we talk about prevention often in our work, and prevention is like starts young.
Yeah.
Like the young, like with CityKidz. Can you explain a little bit to people who don't know what is CityKidz?
So CityKidz, we went out to New York and were trained by a ministry called Metro Ministries. And it's pretty basically evangelist tool to evangelize kids and teenagers. So they had the biggest Sunday school, you could say, in the world, because they would bust hundreds of kids.
That's cool.
From the ghetto, from the at-risk neighborhoods.
Like you're coming.
Yeah, so we really got this vision of saying, you know what, we could do it here. So what we do is we just go into these at-risk neighborhoods where people say, oh, don't go there, or no, that's a bad place. Well, there's kids there. There's kids that, need Jesus. And so we target that. Yeah. And we say, we're going to go there and we're going to tell them about Jesus. Good. And we roll up a tarp and we invite them out to come out, like maybe an hour and a half.
And they know
because we've blitzed with flyers. We invite them. We're going to give something out. We're going to do hamburgers. We're going to do, give out some toys. And so the kids come out. But really what also I found out is the trust, like trusting the neighborhood, the parents. They want people to trust. Yeah. And so more than anything, we've earned parents' trust.
Yeah, it seems like that. I mean, there's also Caroline, who you work with a lot and have known for a while, but she does the actually we could talk about her for a second. Yeah. But she does the food distribution. She helps run this food distribution on Ramona. And what was I going to... Oh, I just noticed I've served only a few times with that. And the people come out and everyone's smiling. And it's the same people. A lot of people that bring their kids to CityKidz. Or they've been around and they know each other. And it's like maybe they go to, she has a program for little girls also, or she helps with one.
Yeah, she started her and I believe it's Pastor Steve Ross.
Yeah.
From Arise.
Yeah.
They started almost like a Bible study for little girls called Hermanitas.
Ah, so good.
Yeah.
But like it's like the same people.
Yeah.
So you talk about trust building, and it's like, we're showing up for this. We're showing up for that. We're showing up. We like come to Spanish church, come to just get food, come to Halloween thing, like festival, come to Christmas, come, and it's just like, we don't expect anything from you. We're giving you things. Like, we don't have to do this. And some people I've heard like, oh, they just want a handout, or they just want, and I've seen people be aggressive at these events, like wanting what they want. You've seen it, the shoes. Yeah. We had an event for shoes, and it was so cool. Backpacks and shoes, and some people are aggressive and they just want what they want. But like, also, where's that tension, like giving things out for free, but like it's an opportunity to love the community and like I don't know, you know what I mean?
Well, if we look in the Gospels, Jesus, I don't think Jesus ever turned anybody away, right? Mm-hmm. Even though he was feeding them, and I think there's a verse that he called them freeloaders, like you're just here for the food, right?
Yeah.
You're only here to be fed. But in the crowd, and I think that's where our faith has to come in, that we could look at that and be frustrated and label them or label the group or the mom. And there are moms that demand
yes.
But is there somebody in the crowd that we're supposed to reach?
No, that's good.
Right? It's like fish.
Yes.
If you throw your line out and you wait and you wait and you wait, sometimes you get some, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you need to change the bait. But I believe that is the same concept that Jesus was trying to teach us, is that there is somebody out there in the crowd that is after my heart.
Yeah, that's so
Whether
good.
we bring shoes, I mean, whose stuff is it anyways?
Yeah.
Right? It's all God's.
Are we not going to do it just because that one is really aggressive or demanding?
Yeah.
Or are we going to do it because like there's people that do need it and they are thankful and they, But talking about trust, like I see it. Building. Yeah.
Like the overall trust is that they know that place there is a church.
Yeah.
That place there gives out stuff. I'd rather have a good reputation than a bad one, right?
Ooh.
That church right there didn't give me shoes, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's good.
Let's be the light on the hill.
Ooh, so Caroline, I just want to chat about her. How did you, because she's actually a big like pillar. She denies it and denies it. She does not want. I was like, this is the leader for the distribution, or this. She's in charge,
humble.
and she's like, no, I'm not. You're in charge. I'm like, I'm not in charge.
She doesn't like attention. Carolina is a good example. We just talked about like believing for someone in the crowd. We've been doing CityKidz, here on the Avenue over 15 years. And if I could say this is the one person that came out of the crowd, is Carolina.
So you met her at CityKidz?
We met her at CityKidz. She came to know the Lord, her kids, then eventually her husband. And really, she's taken ownership of certain things with training and seeing us at work.
I've seen that.
So you've seen that.
Yes.
She follows. She's obedient.
She has a voice.
But she also takes ownership.
Yeah.
Right. You've seen that, and so I've given her that ownership to say, okay, once a month on Fridays, go over to pick up the food, get a team together. She's got her own team, and then she brings it back to Ramona Street and gives it all to the moms.
So good. She's someone that I'm like, oh my gosh, seeing her like even get teary when we talk about the goodness of God, and we just start thanking him, or when anyone like complains or like a little, I don't know, she's just so gentle, and her eyes, you could just see she's like, no, I have been praying for this for so long. This is an answer to prayer. Like, she's kind of like, do not speak about the church this way.
Yeah.
And she's so, I think, when we were considering, like, maybe we'll just go back only into homes, you were like, no, because, and not that the building is anything, like, super special, but the meeting, they have been praying for this for so long, and to have some place to congregate now, we have some place to have unified worship, even like in its own way. But we have something. They have something. It's so special to see her just like tearing up, and like it's an answer to her prayers. Not just like we're an answer to her prayers. No. But God is moving for her and her family and her friends' families.
And you're right, because what we started talking about is prayer, right?
Yes.
And if this is one of those prayers, she was praying for something, and you're right. It's not necessarily where we have church, because we could have it. But for her to be praying for something, and then it came about, and the way it came about, even that is like, what? There's a building here. What?
Oh yeah, you want to share that? How did it go about?
Well, it's just
the ACC building.
Yeah, that's a miracle too.
ACC, the Avenue Community Church, has been here for a very long time. Mm-hmm. You knew the church.
Yeah.
So can you share how were you involved with ACC? You would just do certain events there, or you just hang?
So there used to be, maybe after Pastor Mike, I'm going to say about 3 different pastors. And every time that a new pastor would come in, I would say, okay, can I ask permission to use their parking lot, for example, for events? And everybody turned me down until Pastor Mike. Pastor Mike was a good guy. Yeah. And he said, yeah, you could use the facility. And that's really where the relationship started with Pastor Mike.
Collaborating.
Nick, and Aaron. Yeah. And it was just like, wow, this is amazing. Because I remember one lady, she said they had never done anything like VBS. Like bringing a bunch of families, a bunch of kids, like over 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I was shocked. I was like, no way, like that's not possible.
From that church?
From the church.
Wow.
But, that didn't necessarily like, whoa, oh my goodness, I'm so sad. No, it gave me encouragement to say, you know what, we're supposed to be doing this, right? We're supposed to be doing VBS and doing events here.
Bringing life back to that neighborhood, and not just you, like the church that's here can also participate.
Yes, and so we had been doing that for years with them, like Harvest Festival. Right. Then we did Christmas, and then we did Vacation Bible School, and that's where you guys have come on board and saying, hey, let's help, let's just get involved,
collaborate. And more people.
The more the better, right? Mm-hmm. And then a relationship started, and then the rest is history, right?
Crazy. I remember going to do help with VBS before. So we meet currently. Two Trees Church meets at the old campus of ACC, the Avenue Community Church. And I remember going there when it was like they were still doing their thing, and it was COVID it was like 2022, maybe 2021, and I met Nick and Aaron and you I had met you before from our own meetings. Yeah. But then eventually, like we were meeting at the oh my gosh, too many names.
Because you were doing
we were
kids
meeting at
ministry?
The theater. I was in charge of kids ministry. Yes. That's why.
Yes.
That's why we were collaborating, because I was in charge of kids ministry from Two Trees Church, and it was like we should collaborate. Yeah. And our church was meeting at the theater at the time, the Majestic. And God opened some doors to start meeting at Avenue Community Church. They gave us a green light to start meeting there, and then it was kind of like, I don't want to say it in the wrong way, but it was kind of like, do you guys want to just take over this building? And so that's basically what happened. And so we've been meeting there, and what was my point with that? Oh, well, yeah, collaborating. Now we're coming together with more events and trying to get just the church, the Two Trees Church, to see like this is the neighborhood, like the glory of the neighborhood. Like it's a lot of people speak a different language, but you can show love by just looking at them a certain way, or hand gestures, or like just care. Yeah. It can be food distribution. It can be in whatever way. But yeah, now we have the Spanish service. But can we talk? Back up a little, back to prayer. Yeah, back it up. But like you were sharing before we started, I think that would be really cool to share again. Like you're remembering prayers right now. You said in your congregation, So can you share a little bit about that again?
Yeah. So do you remember? Tell me again, John the Baptist's dad.
I think it's Zachariah.
Zachariah. Okay.
Is that right?
I get it confused. Zachariah and Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus is a wee little man.
A wee little man. Yeah. So Zachariah, when the angel appeared to him, he told him, "Your prayer has been answered," and pretty much it refers to him having a son. And Zachariah was kind of surprised, like, "What? What are you talking about?" And I think we could do that too. We could pray to God in desperation.
Yeah.
We say, God, I need this, or I want this, or please answer this. And in that moment, we're praying, but God is hearing us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
we may forget.
Yeah. So I don't want to forget, and we should never forget that there are people that have prayed in the past. Give you an example. When we were starting CityKidz, Teen Challenge had a little truck that they were taking into the neighborhood and doing the same thing that we were trying to do. And so they were kind of on their way out. They were kind of saying, we're going to stop doing this. Mm-hmm. And so we just took the truck. We just borrowed the truck from them and said, okay, we'll carry it on. Right?
Pass the torch.
Yeah. And so that idea is still happening today, right? Somebody was holding the baton somewhere in the air, saying, I've been praying for this for a long time, whether it's a church with fire, a church that has a heart for people, mm-hmm. A food distribution, a pantry, children's ministry, right? Vacation Bible school, Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, all the things that we're doing now, maybe back in the past, right? Maybe in the 70s, the 60s, who knows? That was holding out a baton saying, somebody take it, somebody.
Yeah.
And people took that baton, continued to pray. And so that's what I'm talking about, that we are standing, right? And like you said earlier, like layers of prayer that now here we are fulfilling those prayers. But let's not forget that we didn't do it.
Right.
You and I didn't do it. We're not like, oh, here we are, Two Trees, here we are, CityKidz, here we are, New Season Church. No, that becomes an attitude that sometimes God could take away.
That's good.
And give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? We see it.
Because it's not about that. But so many people before us planting seeds, planting seeds, and we're just seeing like the harvest maybe, or like David starting something and Solomon continuing it in the Bible, you know, like,
or Moses and Joshua, right?
Yeah.
Hand it over. There's a guy, Adventure missionary, his name is Jay, and he said he used to work here down on Stanley somewhere, and he said every time that he would drive to work, he would pray, Lord, bless this little town, bless, Lord, revival, Lord.
Whoa.
He would just pray, and I was like, wow,
like,
Jay, and he's older now, but back in the days, examples like that.
Yeah,
we just don't know how many people continue to pray for the avenue, right?
Yeah, and it's even in simple, small ways. Like I remember Jemmy shared before, like on Ramona or on different areas on the avenue of her playing as a girl and just like praying to God in simple things. It's just like you don't realize even that you are speaking things into existence, even by simple prayers. It's not like specific, maybe. I want to see a church here, blah, blah, blah. It's just in childlike faith and in delighting yourself in God. He's like, oh, get ready. You don't even know what's coming in the neighborhood or this area.
And we as custodians of those prayers is we also have to be careful who we give it to, right? Or partner with.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Because, sometimes people have the wrong intentions. I like to call them the looky looks.
Ooh.
Or the people that just come because, Two Trees is, what? They have a building? Oh, wow, let's go look over there. And we got to be careful because sometimes false prophets and wolves and people that don't really care about the vision and those prayers that people they're just there
for the shiny.
They're just there for the shining object, right? Oh, a new shining thing. So I think we've talked about like when there's people that come into the church at the Spanish church, I'm like telling you, hey, watch out for that guy, or because
you sense something. Yeah, they're not here for the intentions.
The intention's wrong, and I get it when we feed them, we're going to get people like that.
Yes.
Right? But long term, you and I have to continue to work on who is the team,
right?
Who is the core? Yep. Who's gonna pray into
who's lasting here?
Yeah.
I think you've been really good at that and communicating that with the Spanish church team, the Spanish service team. Just like, use your discernment here. Yeah. Be slow. Be slow. Be slow. Be slow. Watch and listen and like, let's just see. And you're slow to move, like slow to speak. I think you're very quick to like listen, like it says in James, because you're like, hang on, wait a second.
Yeah, because when you have a kids program, like CityKidz, we've had a lot of people come alongside and saying, hey, can we help? Or hey, can we partner? And I'm always good at vetting them, just because it's kids, right? I don't want a predator or so. From that, I've learned that there's people that they just want to come and get a picture.
Right.
One year, way back, we volunteered at the rescue mission, and it was Thanksgiving, and we were serving and preparing all the turkey, preparing all the bread, preparing all the meals, and we bring it out, and there's this car that pulls up. And it's like city officials that got out, right? They got out, and they came into where the food was at, and all they did was take a picture, like them serving, and I was just like, and then they left. They took the picture, and then they left, and I was like, wow. That is such.
That's a picture.
That's a picture, because there are people like that during Christmas. During these events that we do, is that they show up because they want to just take a picture and say, look I'm giving, instead of them truly being the givers. And so those are things that, they'll always be around. Those types of people will always be around. Let's not get discouraged.
Right.
Or
distracted.
Yeah.
Even like, ooh, well, this person's here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Or they want to link on with us and like, being slow and like this person, they're here and having conversation. You said trust being built. That's the same.
The same thing, right?
Oh, that's so good.
Let's not lose focus on our mission.
Yeah. What's the future for you on the app? What is your heart?
I'm moving away.
No. I'm going to Spain. What's your heart for what do you see? What do you want to see God do? Or like, I don't know, what's the next thing that's exciting you? Maybe it's small. Maybe it's a dream. Maybe, I don't know.
I think the thing that I always look at times, because it just comes up. Something I share with my wife. My wife is, she's Caucasian. She's, wonderful woman, but she always gives me little nuggets.
Yeah.
And
she's awesome.
One thing is, because we've seen it, like we've seen people come and go.
Yeah.
And sometimes people come for the wrong reasons. And so understanding that I'm, Latino, Mexican, is that everybody doesn't necessarily think like I do.
Right.
Not everybody thinks about, it's like talking about Jackie and Matt, is that they think about homeless people.
Yeah.
And so not everybody thinks that way. Not everybody's going out there. Is different. And so they may give towards it, but they may not volunteer, right? And so what happens though is that in the midst of all that, we could get excited, we could start growing, and we start forgetting the small beginnings.
Ooh.
Our small, what matters most to God, right? We get into the shiny, we get into the materialistic things, and we forget that the orphans still remain, the widows are still out there, the people that really need our care as a church. So for me, I don't want to forget that. And I want us not to forget that. And I don't want Two Trees to forget that.
No.
Because you guys have come in with this fire and this desire, and that's why I said yes to Pastor Brad, because he has that heart.
Yeah.
But I know that maybe people around, because it happens. It happens in any church, is that now there's a better shiny thing that comes along and takes us away from where we started.
That's good.
The heart, the passion, like we're going to pray. We're going to have prayer walks, right? We're going to have the food pantries. We're going to have all these things. And I get it, resources and time.
Well, you start seeing also answered prayers, and then you're like, well, okay, we don't need to pray anymore. Like some people I don't need to pray anymore. It's like, never stop that.
Never stop that. And so you guys do a good job by praying on Wednesdays, and hopefully the prayer needs to continue, or the direction at least for the avenue, for the, the Latin Americans that are here, the Chicano and the Mexican and the all the I could see somehow if you guys had a map of South America, right, and kind of put all these, because they're here. Who's here
from there?
Yeah,
so many people. I remember we had a lot of dreams and visions about a wave. And it was in the time.
I remember that.
It was a lot of them. Yeah. We prayed into it a lot, and we're like, God, what? And that's right when the border also opened. The border opened much more easy to come across, and people were coming across in waves. And I remember I heard the Lord say, this is the wave. Be ready to be to ride. And how are you going to receive this wave well?
Yeah.
And I remember sober minded, just the wave isn't just revival. The word revival can get so squishy, so mushy and confusing. But what is revival? It's loving the orphans, loving the widows, loving the people who have nothing, and the poor also. And so people have their own political views, but that aside, he said what he said.
Yeah.
Jesus said what he said.
Yeah.
And so, and I remember thinking, oh my, the wave are the people coming, and we've been seeing it in our community even. And how are we going to receive them well?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah.
How are we going to do this?
Yeah.
So not forgetting, and it was just a eye-opening moment for me that it's not just cool moment with music and in worship singing and that's revival's here. It's no.
Yeah.
Revival is how you love.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think our relationship, because I know your heart, is that your heart is for different people, right? Because you've been there, you lived it. But I also know, and this is where my wife comes in, and saying, don't assume that everybody's like Mariah, for example. Yeah. Is that your heart is for the Latino, but not everybody has your heart, because you have experience.
She's wise.
You've been there, done that, and sometimes I could make the mistake everybody's like Mariah, or everybody, and I'm like,
I make that mistake too,
right? Because the heart, because of the passion, and so just the carefulness.
You can't force it on everybody to understand and have a conviction for something. Right. It's hard.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to break that wall of differences and different opinions or beliefs that, let's just have a meal and get to know each other. And we try to do that, right? We're trying to do that. Yeah. Because people come in and they may see you, but they put their wall up. They're like, oh, there's Mariah. Oh, who is she? Or what is she doing? But once they get to know you, it's like the walls come down because you're so loving. And that's really what I'm trying to work at.
Bridging.
Too.
I feel like we're creating bridges to connect groups. Yeah. What is something you've already said? I always ask everybody this towards the end, but what's something you want to leave people with? Or maybe they're just starting in a community and they're like, I don't know how to, I'm not seeing what I want to see. How would you encourage people? Yeah. What's something to leave them with? Even more. We've been leaving a lot of nuggets.
So if somebody moved in, let's say somebody moved into a new neighborhood, I encourage them to start walking their neighborhood. Ooh. To kind of start knowing where the store's at, just making it safe.
To know people.
And that's really also in ministry. If you start a church, I tell people, go walk around, drive around, take your dog for a walk in that area, or routinely take a walk, because you're going to start to see the people. You're going to start to see your environment. And then that's where God's going to really draw. you to pray for a certain corner, a certain store, a certain neighborhood, the people.
Not isolate.
Yeah, not isolate yourself. So if I live on the avenue, for example, I live on Vince Street, I'm not like, oh, this is our home, I'm going to stay here now. No, we walk the avenue. We take walks. We ride our bike. We go to the store. I send my kids out to the avenue. They get on the bus. They ride their bike. Because it has to become part of you.
That's good.
Right? And it's risky sometimes. People always tell me, no, why do you let that happen? It's like, well, we live here.
Yeah.
Right? This is our home.
Yeah.
So we have to be part of the change.
You talk about the earlier, like putting roots down.
Yeah.
It's not, I feel like, I remember when I was the first few months in Spanish school, I was in Oaxaca. And I was living, this is an example of the neighborhood. So I was living with a Mexican family in their home. I was literally sleeping in one of the rooms, and I went to Spanish school, and then I would walk home, and then I would go into my room, and I would say bye, and I would close my door, and I would play solitaire, and I would study. I didn't have internet. So I would like play solitaire, and I would study Spanish. And there was one day, and because I couldn't speak any Spanish, I was so scared, and there's so many lessons in that I won't even get into today, but on learning a language. But for a few weeks, I would just keep going to my room, and I was like, they would offer me bread and coffee at night to participate with them, and I was like, no, it's okay, because I don't want coffee and I don't want bread, I'm thinking. And I would go, and then one day, I remember, I don't know if it was my teacher, or the teachers were all Mexican except for maybe one, and he challenged us, or I don't know if it was Holy Spirit challenged me, get out. The only way you're going to learn is to be out. And I remember I felt like our homework was to read the Bible out loud to somebody. So I remember going out and sitting with someone. I'm like, can I practice reading this with you? It was in Spanish. And so I sat there trying to read scripture. And I saw one big way to learn a language, the Bible. Read it out loud. So, and I remember like, okay, I don't want bread. I don't want coffee at night, but I'm going to go out with them anyway. And leaving the bedroom and sitting with them. And then they're watching soccer, and they're all hanging out on a Sunday. And I like, don't want to do that because I want to be alone. Go out there and sit with them. And those moments you have to choose, open the door and go out. And that's the neighborhood. Like you need to open the door and not be isolated. And come out into the neighborhood, come out into the culture and get to know people, or else you're like, I'm here to learn Spanish, but I'm going to learn it by the books and not by the people all around me. They're all around you. But when you say that's good. Walk the neighborhood, walk the hood, like go get the tacos, right? Go tip them. Go get your hair done by somebody.
There you go.
Maybe don't go to the white neighborhood.
Don't get it cut off.
Shave it. But I got you if you want it. I got you. But go out into go do something that's different. Maybe don't go to Johnny's Tacos at the start of the avenue. Maybe go deeper, you know? Maybe go to somewhere else.
Go back. There's tons of liquor stores, right? You don't have to buy liquor. You can go in there and buy a bag of chips.
Get to know. And then, that's so good. But I just, that memory came to me that I had the most rich, beautiful moments because I left my room. And I would go with that family on trips. They started inviting me because they trusted all of a sudden. They're like, she's cool.
That's good.
And they would invite me to their hometown. They're like the mountain town. Or they would invite me out and we're going to go on a walk to the beach. You want to come? And before they just knew, she's just weird and alone. So anyway, I think we just need to encourage, I just want to encourage people talking about the neighborhood, get out. From yourself.
Get out, volunteer. You have Laundry Love. Go out to Laundry Love. There's a lot of people there.
Oh my gosh.
So, adopt a blog. Go out and pick up trash. Go check out the neighborhood. I think you guys do a good job of presenting, hey, this is what we're doing. And so people need to really get out and start doing it.
That's good. And there are things that people already had started, and we're just, they passed the baton to us, so. What's one more thing? What's one thing you wish you knew back when you started? Maybe when you were a new believer? Or maybe just, 10 years ago when you moved back to the Avenue? What's something you wish you knew? Or is there nothing?
Well, if you
Or a
look
feeling
at
you
if
wish-
you look at our lives, I think everything is meant to be, right? God, all the mess, all the
Good answers.
hardship. But if I had God, if I could go back, I think I would buy a house back then.
Ooh, I know. Me too. When I was 5, I should have bought a house.
We should have bought a bunch of houses back in the days, right? That would have been awesome.
But a house.
I think I wish
cool.
I would have wrote more stuff down because I'm writing stuff down, but back then I didn't write stuff
Like
down.
the testimonies or like what's been like journaling?
Journaling what people probably did or did not do, and who were the prayer people, maybe, right? Who are the ones that we could say, oh, this person prayed and look at what happened.
Look back and see it.
Yeah. So that's
Never
the
too late to start that.
Never too late. So I tend to do that now because we're having some good times.
We are having some good times. I'm having some good times too.
Yeah.
Dang, it's so good. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, we meet when do we meet? Sundays at 5 p.m.
Sundays at 5 p.m. And when do you guys do church?
We also have English church Sundays 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m.
Cool.
But it's lit at 5 p.m. Just kidding.
Yeah.
We have a lot of food.
And Vacation Bible School's
Oh,
coming.
yeah. When's that?
That is July 29th, 30th, and 31st.
That's
Monday,
for the
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Evening
from
more
6 to 7:30.
the kids. Yeah, and there's another one.
And you guys are doing
Also,
an earlier one.
Earlier.
Yes, for the church.
Yeah. So if you want to know more about CityKidz or your church, his church, you can reach out. If you have any questions, reach out. But that's it.
Yeah. Cool.
It's just getting started.
Yay.
There's so much. It's just
Prayer.
been
Keep praying,
prayer.
Keep remembering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wrap. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.